This is definitely turning out to be more difficult than I first thought. I'm just going to take a bit of a break, let it cool down, and then we'll attack this again. You can't really see what it is. Super exciting, guys, but at the same time this has like cost me a fortune. I think I might need to set up a GoFundMe page. What we have here, guys, is a standalone ECU. I will go into more detail, but first of all I need to get this harness and some of that ECU parcelled up into that box and sent off as soon as possible. So that was no 5-minute job. It's taken me some time just to get the wires where I think they need to be for where the ECU is going to sit. So now we've got that done, we just need to strip the engine harness down. But before we do that, I'm just going to finish my cup of tea. Alright, so we're looking a little bit clearer in the engine bay, and we've also got this box parcelled up. Harness, some spare wires, plugs, adapters, some parts of the ECU, pins and bits and pieces. I'm keeping the ECU so I can get the ECU mounted. I can keep the lambda sensors so I can get them plugged in, and then ultimately we are pretty much good to go. Right, I probably need to give this video a little bit of context. Simply because you guys may not know what the hell is going on with regards to the wiring on this car. So the situation is now we're going standalone. Let me just explain what we was trying to do. So what we've got here is the Audi ECU. So this is the original Audi ECU. This is actually the third ECU now. But ultimately this is the Audi ECU that came with this engine. And the idea is that I was going to try and run this Audi ECU alongside that ECU sort of. It's not really doing anything, but it would be receiving certain signals and sending certain things to this ECU, etc. But that's where it sort of presents a problem. And I've got to say a massive thank you to Baldo's Control Systems for supplying this ECU for me. Now this is a second generation ECU. The original ECU that I was inquiring about last year, it could only run one lambda sensor into this ECU. And I was ultimately looking for something that could do the whole job lot in one go. So moving forward, we are going to be working with a standalone. As much as I hate to say it, I've got to give up on this idea because we was just getting nowhere. So this is effectively going to be doing everything that we need it to, whereas with that one we was extremely restricted. So this is actually a blessing in disguise. It's just cost me a lot of money to get to this point, and to be honest with you, for the money that I've wasted on that, I could have just done this originally, and maybe we should have just gone this route. It's my fault, it's my mistake, it is what it is. Let's look forward to how this is going to pan out. That's actually going to be quite exciting. This is pretty much just an ornament at this point. I have trimmed up this section here, so my intake just goes into there nice now. It's got a nice gap down there. It's still close, but it's okay. And as you can see, my engine cover just doesn't fit. I also want to make some modifications to my coolant system, because what's actually happening, you can't really see in there, guys, but the engine bay cooling fan is touching one of the coolant hoses. So I just want to be able to move that out of the way. What I'm thinking, guys, is if I run these instead of 90s, which is ultimately causing the problem, because the 90s are sort of causing it to go into the fan, whereas these would direct it away from the fan, if that makes sense. And obviously that is so I can, you know, send it back the right way, if that makes sense. I am definitely putting this pedal back in. Would anybody like to buy an Audi ECU? think the most impressive thing, all the wires are, you know, pulled through at the minute. I might need to add extra wires in at some point. I don't want to get too carried away again by wrapping up all the harness when I might need to add a wire in. So at this point, I'm just going to leave it like this. But as you can see, it's running really nice and neat. So I've just bought some connectors. We've just connected this to the original harness. So we've got throttle cables. Then we've just got a random few connections, clutch, CAN bus, everything else, all of that connected through there. Then we have basically just got like a 6-way connector that's carrying my power. I should have done this many months ago. It's my own fault. This is where we are. From delivery to sending the harness to receiving it back to wiring it up, it's taken me about a month, there or thereabouts. It's not quite 100%. I've got this wire to shorten, I've got a couple of wires over there to solder, I've got the OBD wire to wire back in, but as it stands, this car is now running. Soldered back in the OBD port. That ECU is going to be finding a home somewhere in there, but for now it's going to live there. We have got to change that cable for a longer one, hopefully like 1.5 meters. That'll be a bonus. I am literally going to nick the exhaust up and then we'll go for it. Nice. I think we are about ready to go. Hopefully we'll have no catastrophic failures. Power steering pump might be a bit whiny. We've got some sketchy AF power steering lines, but otherwise I think everything else should be okay. I am just going to get a fire extinguisher at the ready because we are going to be putting this up to temperature now, so things could go wrong. Oh, like that, we've disconnected. Right, we're reconnected, I hope. So, without further ado, you know, considering we're sat on the ramp at the minute, so like on the chassis, there really is not that much movement from this engine, like from the vibration. It's running. You can definitely still see through it, but it is dark. Guys, I think there's a fair amount of fuel in that oil, and that's why I'm dropping it. Got some more oil. We are back to where we need to be. Sorry mate, I do apologise. Okay. Alright dude. I'll speak to you soon and I will crack on and keep you updated.
Yeah, okay then.
Alright buddy, see you soon.
Ta-ra, bye.
Bye bye, bye bye. Fuck. Ow. Yeah, mate, car. I can't be asked to do any more tonight. Time for a little update. I'm a little tired. I've been up all day and I've been up all night trying to get this car running. At this point, the base map is not exactly right. I was on the phone with Tom, the professor, last night. He's guided me through changing the fuel in. I've messed around with the revs. I seem to have the car sort of happy. The few issues we're suffering from at the minute is voltage. I'm not going to get that done in today's video, but ultimately I'm going to run the car for now, so long as I keep the car charged and I'm keeping, like, 12.5 volts in there, 12, close to 13 volts. So on top of that, we've also got an issue with the ignition key. That doesn't like to be taken out and put back in. That might be something to do with the ECU or the relay that's powering the ECU and the way it's powering it up. I'm not sure. Genuinely not too sure on that one, guys. If anybody knows what that could be, then that'd be great. Coolant fans don't work. Engine bay coolant fan doesn't work. Power steering is super sketchy. Well, I say super sketchy. I keep saying sketchy. It's not that bad, but it's not good. And still need to get the actual tank mounted. That's cable tied to the engine. I like to try and do everything perfect, so I'm not quite happy with it, but it's connected and it seems to be doing the job. AC is not connected, and I've also put my wheels on. I know it's probably a bad idea, but I've got to see what it drives like. I've got to see what it sounds like, and I'm sure you all do too. And I'm not exactly sure I'm going to make it out of the garage without scraping or ripping this exhaust off. I think I'm just going to try and find out. Best not forget that. I might actually get stuck outside. I'm doing it for you guys. I'm also doing it for me. I'm just going to make sure I can go forward, backwards, make sure I've got brakes, and then I'm going to go for it. So it looks like we're going to be getting comfy. Just overheated the car. Yeah. Never mind. This is an epic moment, by the way. There's only one thing left to do. That's a complete lie, but let's get some bodywork on. Shameless merch plug. we're looking more like a car. Apart from, you know, looking like it's been scraped across the floor, I might need to work on alignment. I know you sat there thinking that the plate sat a little bit too high, but honestly there's some screw holes just at the top of the number plate, so I had to cover them up. I couldn't see them. So for now I'm going to run these. I'm going to replace this with a sticker. They look insane. Other than that, the car's ready. One extinguisher. Important. Not the most important, obviously. God, these glasses look absolutely stupid. The most important thing to be driving a Porsche is Rolex. We're ready to go.
Well guys, I think that will do it.
We seem to be managing temperature with the fans on. It's like 25 degrees outside and it's about 80 in here. It's managing temperature, but it's not perfect, and now I'm stuck in traffic. I've also noticed that my clutch is now sticking as well, which is not good. Need a little bit of aluminium fab work done on the engine cover, so obviously I can try and keep some of the heat out of the cockpit, because at this point in time it's absolutely stifling. So that's my plan, and then we'll head to the MOT station. Yeah, I don't even know what to do at this point, because if I try and reset that, it's gonna tell me to F off. Right, so with the blowers on, I'm getting a check engine light because my voltage is dropping too low, but the blowers being on is keeping the engine temperature cool, or around about the temperature that I need it to be. Lambda sensor voltage out of range. Supply voltage too low, fuel pressure too low. Please hurry up. We're here.
Not exactly the best day for this, but never mind. We've got our coffee. Are we there yet?
Like actually cooking. Yeah. I'll switch it off a bit if I was you. Yeah, go on then.
Done. We have had a few little problems. Now, as you can see, I've had to take quite a bit of it back out, but I haven't finished yet because it still hits the top of the engine. And this little section right here, that's still rubbing on my fuel pipe. I'm not moaning. I'm not moaning. It's not 100% perfect. The cam covers got a refresh. I painted them completely blue this time and I think it works so much better. Now I've done all of this in like a wrinkle effect and I think it just looks so effective. Power steering reservoir, I've done that in a wrinkle black finish as well. We've all been waiting way too long for this, guys, and I just genuinely want to drive the car. First official cold start for the Porsche Cayman V8.
In fact, guys, I think what we need to do is probably set the camera a little bit further back just to give the mic a fighting chance. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but you know, it's loud. It's extremely loud. I don't even know if that is worthy of bragging because it's ridiculous, if I'm honest. On the steering wheel. I am a cocked a bit over to the left. That could be tyre pressures. I will double check them in a bit. But it feels good. I'm managing around about 82 degrees at the minute. I have got the blowers on, admittedly. I don't want to sound like I'm nitpicking, guys, because honestly that's the wrong thing to be doing right now. Putting an Audi V8 into a Porsche. Is awful. Please don't be the police behind me. I don't know if you could tell, but we've got a fully working Porsche Cayman V8. It's a bit warm in here and a little bit loud, but that doesn't matter. That just doesn't matter. The worst thing is by the time I get to my destination, I'm a dripping tea bag. I am literally already becoming a tea bag. I forgot the fire extinguisher. I can smell something burning. It doesn't drone, ladies and gents. It doesn't drone. We're good there. I'm going to pick it up. I've got a wheel vibration. Oh yeah. I'm just going to say it now. I've got a really strong smell of horse piss. I'm going to guess that's something to do with a car. Like AC or something, I don't know. It stinks. It hums. Like, it's gassing me out. I'm a tea bag. That's a ton. My God. It all just feels a little bit wrong. It's ammonia. It smells like ammonia. And I don't know what it is. I'm assuming coolant or something. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, that's the problem that we're having. I'm not even joking. We started with double that 10 minutes ago. I've never seen anything like it. This is all you're going to get for this video. I genuinely tried to get some rolling shots, but it just didn't happen. I hope this will do, guys. forgot that I got my wheels refurbished. And as you can probably imagine, they haven't been balanced again, so that'll be the cause of that. I hope you all stick around for the update videos. We are going to be getting into this a lot more. There is so much that I want to do to it. There is still some things that we need to work through.
I'm not going to lie, guys, that was pretty stressful.
I guess it's really meant to be.